This is video 100. I think I'm going to celebrate by having a smoke. Why would they allow people to market cigarettes like that? It's depressing. Guess I won't have a smoke. Anyway, I thought I would comment on some of the videos I've done over the past year. The one that got the most views was a video to Smosh, a video reply. Got the most views, and I thought it was really good. But apparently, because of the comments, I stopped making videos on Smosh. Even though we had an election, and I was elected to do videos on Smosh, it's just that apparently old people don't belong there on that site. So I stopped making those videos. The video I thought that was the best over the 100 videos was one called Preparation, done at Christmas time. It just all fell together right with a music box that ran down, changed the entire direction. There really was no preparation. That I thought was my best video, all because of a thing called timing. The video that meant the most to me was the video I did called Love Lost, about my dog Chucky. I want to keep this short. I'd love to tell you all the background about that. But dogs do many things for us, and one of the most important things they do, after they bring you years of happiness, they bring you some of the lowest days in your life, the last days they're with you. But Chucky, my dear beloved black lab and best friend I think I ever had, Chucky even taught me to die, and how to do that with grace and dignity. Dogs are so special. The video I did, a reply to a guy named Masonic Jew 2000. He was a skinhead. Shortly after I did my reply, which I thought was one of the better videos I ever did, simply because it all fit together, and I really didn't prepare for that either. It just came out. Sometimes you focus when you're angry. That was a very special video too. The subject, of course, in that was whether people choose to be gay or not. And I did the video about a young person who was a victim of like secondhand smoke. I don't really believe much in secondhand smoke, but there's secondhand radio too. You see, he was home during the show, and we were talking about gays, and this young kid had never told his parents he was gay, because they're Christian, and they didn't accept this thing of being gay. Anyway, we told the gay jokes, and in the background this kid's listening, and he's trying to weigh out what he can do about the fact that he is gay. Anyway, he commits suicide. It changed my whole life, realizing the effect, whether just a small part, I played in that suicide of that young man. I don't think I ever got over that, even to this day. But I did a video on it. I'm proud of the video, even though today it's kind of turned into a place for a bunch of... It distresses me how sick people are. We're talking about a young person committing suicide, killing himself because of their hatred. And they go onto that video and spread their hatred. Damn those people. What kind of evil is that? Makes me sick when I think those people are running loose on this planet. I was thinking, too, about street kids. When I was in Seattle many years ago, I was asked to be on the board of directors of a organization that helped street kids. I'd never run into street kids. So I said, yeah, I'd do it because I'm a good Catholic boy, and I liked the priest. Me and I'd become friends. He told me there's one street kid, his name is John, and he wants to be a radio announcer, and he's a really bright boy. Could you maybe invite him into the radio station one day? I said, sure, I'll invite John into the radio station. I knew which kid was John because he's very young. He looked much younger than 14. As an aside here, I had no experience at all with street kids. I did not have a clue of what I was dealing with. I was standing with some of these kids around a trash can that was flaming. They'd lit it on fire and they were using it for heat. And I looked at these kids. They looked so much like kids. They looked like the kids in the classroom. They looked like kids in the Boy Scout troop. And then I noticed something. It was their eyes. You know, eyes tell us so much about people. I always look at people in their eyes when I talk to them. When I'm talking to a student, I can look in his eye, and I know whether he or she has just grasped what I've said or not, because they tell you what's inside when you learn to read the eyes. And I looked at these kids' eyes, and their eyes were dark, like tunnels of death. There was no hope there. Very sad. Anyway, that's an aside. But those kids are different. They may look the same. So I see this John, and I walked over to him, and I said, Johnny, the good Father tells me that you want to be a radio announcer. I happen to be a radio announcer. Here's my card, John. I would like you to come to the radio station and spend a day with me, and I'll show you what it's like to be a radio announcer. And the kid looked at me. He looked at the card. And he looked back at me. Took the card and ripped it up and dropped it on the street. My ego was torn to shreds. I just felt, what hopelessness. Then months pass. I'm at the donut shop at First and Pike, big hangout of street kids in Seattle. And John's across the table. And he gets up and he walks over and he sits down across from me. We sort of just looked at each other. And I said, Johnny, tell me something. Why did you rip up my business card and throw it on the ground? Father told me you wanted to be a radio announcer. And he goes, I want to be a radio announcer. What the hell did you expect me to do with your fancy businessman card in front of my friends? Jerry, I tried to memorize that number before I tore it up. Say, sometimes we do not understand other people. We have got, if we're ever going to let this planet succeed, we've got to understand what the other person thinks. What's going on in their head may be totally different than what's going on in our head. What is it, Bentley? Timmy's outside and there's a tsunami coming? You what? You want to take a walk? Take a walk. He wants to take a walk. See this, Bentley? And now, if you will excuse me.
Reap, gonna reap the fruit of the seed that you've been sowing. What you gonna say to the Lord that day when he asks what you've been growing? Will you say hope is a-growing, that's what I planted. Hope is a-growing, that's what I planted. Started spreading all around, watched it fill this little town. Yes, hope is a-growing here.